And we are so excited to meet Meg Hunter-Kilmer and learn more about being a hobo missionary. Thanks so much for being with us, Meg.
I am so excited to be here, Kevin.
Let's go right to the start. Tell us the story. What is it like being a hobo, a traveling itinerant, I guess you would call yourself? And this all started back in 2012?
It did, yeah. I feel like I should sort of give a definition, I guess,
Sure.
of what that means. So I'm a missionary. I live out of my car. I used to be a regular person with like a house and a job. I went to Notre Dame, got 2 degrees in theology, and then I taught high school religion, a little bit of middle school, for 3 years in Georgia, then for 2 years in Kansas. And 7.5 years ago, I felt like God was calling me to follow him in a more literal way. So I quit my job, packed everything I own into the trunk of my car, and started driving. And for the last 7.5 years, I've been essentially homeless and unemployed. Everything I own is currently parked in your parking lot.
Wow.
And I drive around the country and fly around the world just telling people how much God loves them.
Wow. What was it like starting this?
You know, I did not realize that it was going to be a long-term thing.
Yeah.
When I first started, I kind of felt like the Lord was saying, you know, I just want you to be open. I want you to be available. I thought it was going to be for 2 months, and then God was going to give me some perfect job and a great place to live. And 7.5 years later, I guess I'm glad that I didn't know going in that it was going to be this long, because I don't think I would have been up for it. You know, I think I would have been like, okay, clearly there's something wrong here. Like, this is not a thing that people do. There's a reason that people don't live like this.
Talk about your ministry too. It's called Pierced Hands as well.
Yeah, my website is piercedhands.com. So I do a lot of speaking. I've spoken to ages 1 through 98 on basically any topic related to Jesus. But I write a lot, and I've got a podcast, and I've got a vlog, and I've got all the social media. And so mostly just making sure that I don't have enough time to sleep, I think, is kind of what the ministry is about.
Talk about the people that you've met. 7 years plus. What's it been like going out into parishes and communities and talking with people? You
know, it's remarkable, because I do the speaking, and sometimes like big headline events, and sometimes just 5 people in someone's living room. But the purpose is really to get onto the couch, to sit with people one-on-one, midnight, and to receive their brokenness. There's a real freedom that people have when they know they're never going to see you again. And when they know that you're a person who's trying to live with a heart fixed on Jesus. And just the way that I'm able to enter into people's brokenness and to pray with them and to give them saint friends who can walk alongside them in this struggle. It's just a real grace. When I first started this, I was kind of like, look, Jesus, like, I love you. Like, I love you, and I will do what you want me to do, but I love relational ministry. You know, I love being with people and walking with them in their struggles. And I just feel like this is such a fleeting, like, you know, a jump in and talk about things and then get out. And the Lord was like, man, when have you ever longed for something that I have not satisfied? And it's not the way that I'm used to it. It's not that day in, day out, months of trying to win the heart of a teenage boy who just doesn't want anything to do with Jesus. But it's still so much about relationship, which has just been such a grace to me.
Yeah, and you talk about brokenness and struggle too. What are you finding, I guess, when you go out to these places with the youth? What seems to be maybe some of their main concerns or some main issues in their lives that you're finding?
Oh man, it is not an easy time to be a teenager. It's really not. And I think that they are confronting this existential despair that my generation maybe was dealing with in college, boomers kind of dealt with when they hit midlife. These kids are 11 and 12 years old, and they are deeply aware of the fact that this world is never going to satisfy them. They have had so much given to them, and they have suffered so horrifically through social media and through what they're exposed to on the internet and through just the way that people dehumanize each other. There's just a lot of suffering, and I think a lot of eye rolling that they get from adults. And so they just come to realize that they're never going to be happy, which is a really beautiful thing when someone then steps into that and says, but you know what, you were made for more than this world. You are loved beyond imagining by a God who died to know you, and this world doesn't have to satisfy you because you have a Father in heaven who created the whole universe for love of you. You know, so there's this brokenness that they're ready to hear people speak into in a way that older generations aren't necessarily, because they're keeping things together.
Yeah.
Young people just can't keep anything together. Millennials too. They're like, my life is a mess. I have $400,000 in student loans and I can barely get a job waiting tables. Like, tell me, give me something, because I know I'm not going to be okay.
Now, talk about, we're just about out of time, but talk about how you go about doing this, if like a parish wants you to come in, or how's that all work?
You know, mostly people reach out to me through social media. So if you Google Hobo for Christ, you'll find me. And they follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, and they reach out and they say, hey, can you come and speak at our youth group or do a parish mission? And, you know, if the geography works out, I come.
That's great. Well, thank you so much,
My pleasure.
Meg, for being with us. And hopefully you have a good quality car that you're driving.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Well, thanks so much, and appreciate all that you do and the ministry you do. And people can check you out and find out how they can have you come by their parish or their home as well.